Hello there, and welcome to my new World of Warcraft series, Warcraft Map Tours. On this first episode, I'll be exploring the starting zone of the Sindorai, or Blood Elves if you prefer. The zone goes by the name of Eversong Woods. It is part of their devastated homeland that goes by the name of Quel'thalas, or High Kingdom. It is also in Eversong Woods, where their capital, Silverman City, can be found. While I was doing my research for this video, I found out a couple of interesting facts that I will now share with you before I begin commenting this video. At first, the regions known as Eversong Woods and Ghostlands were one and the same, known as Eversong Forest. However, in the Second War, a large portion of Eversong Forest was burned down by the Red Dragonflight at the command of the Old Lord, and then by the Blood Elves after the Third War, changing its name to the Blackened Woods. Eversong Woods represents the part that was reclaimed by the Blood Elves and was cultivated back to almost its previous state before it was damaged, leaving only the dead scar and the burned area to the south of it as signs of a grim past. Another thing that is not cohesive is the fact that in the Warcraft 3 maps, the location of the Sunwell, the fountain where the High Elves drew their power from, is controversial. As you can see, in one map the Sunwell is on an island that goes by the name of Quel'thalas, which is the one in which it is currently in the game. But in the playable map in Warcraft 3, the Sunwell is inside Silverman City, and it even has a river around the city, which it isn't true if you go there on the live game. Perhaps that decision was simply made to justify gameplay purposes only. So here we are, we can see Silverman City from here. We can see the gate from where the dead scar is on the other side, that Silvermoon over there, where actually on Sunstrider Isle it is the very zone where your character will appear once you create it. There are some Blood Elf kids chilling by the grass. And yeah, so we're coming over here. We can see, I mean, Blood Elves actually have, in my opinion, it's one of the best architectures from World of Warcraft. It's both Draenei's and Blood Elves. They have such a design. It's so unique and sophisticated for that matter. We can see here that the crystals that Grand Magister Romath, when he came from Kelta's command to the Regent War, he brought the technique to drain mana, and that's how the Blood Elves managed to basically not die or being turned into the Wretched, which is the form that they get when they hunger for magic and they can't quench that thirst. So here's a monument to the previous king, the father of Keltas. It will appear in the text. I think it's Dathremar, the name of the king. The upcoming legendary mage dagger is the dagger of this king, Dathremar. So I was right here. He and the entire council of Silvermoon were slain by Arthas and their scourge when they trampled through Quel'thalas. So we can see here that's the former academy where one hungry wretched is, and you have a quest to kill him. We can see here a lot more fell infused crystals where the Blood Elves come and draw magic from them. So here basically we do some quests, we kill some mana worms, some lynxes, training our wits into hunting. We also kill the wretched up there on the academy. There's a quest where you activate here an orb as well. And moving on from the beginning area, we know there's the graveyard where if you die you resurrect there, you appear there, there's a guardian angel. And here we are launched, but before we are launched here into the former western part of Silverman City. Here I don't know if this is available on the live edition of the game, but here is one of the Blood Knights, which would give a quest to Blood Elf Paladins. I don't know, it's a quest about the class, perhaps a spell, or even the beginning of the Charger Mount, but I don't think that's the Charger Mount. I think it's another spell. So the Blood Knights are an order of Paladins, mainly Blood Elves, only Blood Elves, because they were the first race of the Horde to be Paladins. That's because on the Burning Crusade, Quel'thalas imprisoned a Naru named Muro, which he brought to Silvermoon, and the Blood Elves drew magic from the Naru, earning the powers of the light, thus forming the Blood Knights. Hence the story of it. Now we're here at the western part of Silverman City. It's currently filled with wretched and malfunctioning golems, arcane golems, which the Blood Elves use even in their city, but these ones are malfunctioning and are hostile. And there's also wretched, which I've already told you what they are. They're Blood Elves who were consumed by the hunger for magic. So this is practically half of the city, perhaps even more, which is still in ruins to this day, if I'm correct. And we can see here the architecture is basically the same. There's just rubble, some decent siege engines, in fact, but we can see that this also looks a lot more ample. It's such a wide space. There's not a lot of buildings like on the eastern part of the city. I don't know if it's because it is in ruins now or something different entirely. So we're heading over now to Falconwing Square, which is the part that is on hold by the Blood Elves, where new adventurers can learn about professions. Previously on previous expansions you will learn the next bunch of spells here. Now it's all automatic. There's an inn there and so on. Here's a statue of Kelton's Sunstrider, highly revered. I don't know if perhaps this was by the time of the beginning of the Burning Crusade that the statues were erected. So here now we're seeing the Dead Scar, which is the path that Arthas onslaught, basically. He brought the Scourge here, and they trampled through all the way to the Sunwell, where they were able to resurrect Quel'thalas by using the urn of ashes from Arthas' father, the former king of Warden, King Terenas II. So, and he killed his mentor, Uther, for that same purpose. So, quite a terrible story here. So here's an Arcane Sanctum. When the Sunwell was destroyed because they used it to resurrect the Lich Quel'thalas, when Romath returned from Kelton's command, he taught the remaining Blood Elves to draw magic, and the Sanctums are placed on ley lines, which conduct the very magic of Azeroth, and the Blood Elves turned to Sanctums and fel-infused crystals to draw the magic from them and quench their thirst, basically, because if not, they will become wretched and go crazy. So here's one hut. Perhaps there's a quest there, I don't know. I've already finished all the zones here. We can see quite a lot of characters running around, but now with phasing. So it was not as dead as I expected. We're now heading into Fairbreeze Village, if I'm not mistaken. No, not yet. This is an abandoned area. Another sanctum filled with arcane elementals, I believe. And by the cliff there, we can see a night elf spy. And the night elves were, at first there was really no reason for attacking the night elves. I mean, they were somewhat friendly in the Warcraft 3, the Burning the Frozen Throne, I'm sorry. And what seems to be is that the night elves were sent to spy on the Sindorai, because they were afraid that they would become another mutation like the Naga or the Sartirs. And it's true. If they had their Sunwell taken from them, and they could fall to the thirst and become wretched. But although there were some who turned that way, growing even claws and losing most of their hair and becoming also pale, the Blood Elves managed to prevail and quench their thirst for magic with another set of tools. But here we just killed the Night Elves because there are trespassers on a sovereign land, right? It is still a sovereign land, even though when Arthas trampled through Quel'thalas, the Blood Elves, which were currently known before that attack, they were known as the High Elves. They lost 90% of their population. So you can see that Arthas really had a blow here on the Elves' homeland, turning it upside down until this point on the game, as far as I know. So we saw a small port over there. We're just turning around the river here, and we'll probably go into Fairbreeze Village, which is a small hub with quests where you get to kill some Morlocks, you get to attend a party which is Sarthariel Haven's party. There are some sanctums here which are based on ley lines. You get some quests there to wipe the elementals, as we saw before, but nothing that much of a big deal, right? So we're now heading into Fairbreeze Village, and we can see that most of the part of the woods is now healed back to its former glory. It's been 7,000 years that the kingdom was not breached and not attacked. It was attacked, but there weren't any major consequences about it. And then the Scourge was formed, and Arthas trampled this down and changed everything. So now we're going to Sarthariel's Haven party. It's a party where you have several profession. How do I spell it? Several profession trainers. Yes, profession trainers. And you can hang in there, and even if you have the invitation on your backpack, you can drink from the several beverages on the tables. So here's Lord Sarthariel and perhaps his wife. Here are the trainers I talked about. As you can see, the fell-infused crystals. See, they don't look that good. Those eyes, I mean, the smoke is okay, but it's the eyes that give you the impression that there's something not as good working inside. I don't know, I really don't know what it is. So you can see here a small bulwark of Blood Elves Rangers, which they're looking at the former port, which is now overrun by the Wretched. Here you can see low levels going around, killing Wretched, cleaning the place up so that they can then build more ships. I believe this is the one port that the Blood Elves have. I believe so. Perhaps now in Quel'thalas, not in the live game, because in the live game we are still in the Burning Crusade. But perhaps in the live game there is also another port, since Quel'thalas is part of the Blood Elven Kingdom, which is still Quel'thalas, I believe. I really haven't heard any notices from them. We had a very great part of Blood Elf War on the Mists of Pandaria. I was actually surprised. I was not expecting it. So you can see Morlocks on the shore, Morlock villages. It is common to find Morlocks in whatever coastal area we're at. This is the only one, I believe. And now we're moving on to a part where you can see here the port tower, and we're moving now to a part of Eversong Woods, which is burned down, and they're the Rune Stones. I don't know if the Rune Stones were activated prior. Yes, I guess I remember now. The Rune Stones were activated in order to stop the blight from the Scourge to spread from the Ghost Ones and into Eversong Woods. As you can see, I believe on the right, I don't know if I'll show. Here in the middle of this burned area, we can see a Rune Stone, which stopped functioning. And so they had to burn the area so that the blight wouldn't spread over to the Eversong Woods, preventing it from doing so, at least. We can see further Rune Stones on the next couple of minutes here. And yeah, they managed pretty well after having 90% of their population wiped off just like that. We can see Ghost Ones on the other side. There's a Night Elf encampment, and we can see that the land looks quite dark actually. So I don't know if you know already, but in Eversong, when the High Elves, they were at the time they were High Elves. When the High Elves settled in, they used a magic that kept the spring, or the weather of spring, which was the weather when they arrived, to be eternal. So for all the eternity until for all those 7,000 years, Eversong Forest remained in a continuous springtime. But now the Ghost Ones were formed because of Arthas, and yet they still managed to reclaim the lost part that of Eversong Woods. Here we have the courier who was injured, and an apothecary, which belongs to Tranquillian, a faction that is made of both Blood Elves and Forsaken, who seek to heal the Ghost Ones. But that will come on a posterior video. So now we still have some very iconic sites of Eversong Woods. You can see there in the distance another Rune Stone. So what I was talking about is that when the elves settled in, they were in constant war with the locals, which are forest trolls, the Amani tribe. and they never got to wipe them out, and neither the trolls managed to wipe them out. So the trolls continue to live here, and they have quite the buildings, quite the number of buildings that they have here on the eastern side of the Eversong Woods. So you can see here's a mage protecting the Rune Stone, preventing from the blight of the Dead Scar to spread. The Dead Scar is always filled with the undead. You see people, sometimes new heroes die here, they get revived, it's a never-ending cycle. And here is one of the sanctums that was damaged in the invasion of the Scourge. And I don't know if you played it, but on the second map of the Quel'thalas invasion, we get to destroy some pieces that will disable the magic barrier that protects Quel'thalas. And I don't know if this is one of the sanctums that was destroyed, and therefore it allowed the Scourge to begin their invasion further into Silverman City. It was also around here. There's no sign of the camp, and that Sylvanas was murdered. It's a shame that the place isn't specified in the game, at least as far as I know. Anything related to that event is a locket that we retrieve from the Windrunners village, which I assume Sylvanas probably lived there. So we're now walking into the village of the trolls. I believe it's Torwata that's called. So the trolls are a presence that the Blood Elves could never vanquish from their homeland, and to this day they continue to assault travelers and provoking all kinds of assails to unsuspecting wanderers and adventurers. So here's Lake Elrondar, which then forms a river that separates Eversong Woods and the Ghostlands. So there's really not much to tell here. There are some troll ruins, and mostly there are about, I don't know, a dozen huts or so with Amani trolls, which and these ones are not were not affected by the Scourge attack, as were also the Morlocks. The Morlocks were, they are immune. In fact, I believe they are immune to the plague. So adventurers are sent here to thin the numbers of the trolls and kill their leader. I believe there's a leader here. Yeah, there it is, the big troll over there. Spearcrafter Otembe. Yeah. That. Then we're now moving to the Sunstrider retreat, which is some kind of order of hunters or a defense regiment of the Blood Elves, mostly composed by hunters, I believe. They're the ones who sent us to thin the numbers of the trolls and some other dangers that still lurk Eversong Woods. You can see the story. I believe it's kind of a shame that we don't see this kind of architecture in these new expansions. I know Pandaria there isn't been a lot of time to build, neither as well, because we were simply locked in the alternate Draenor. But the the only time they would use strategy, be not counting on these two maps and Quel'thalas as well, is on the Terracar forest, when they have one or two buildings, and oh, there's Elfire Peninsula as well, with a tower, I believe, and a hut, some kind of a hut. Not a hut, but a small, I'm sorry, small house. But you can see here, this is just spectacular. I didn't use the teleport here, but you can see the stairs floating in the air. There's those little, I don't know, half suns, half moons, I don't know what to call them, up in the air as well. And these, they look like blades or something. See, it's just great. And here is a garden again. No, I'll speak about it later. So here we can see a garden with a moon, half a moon, crescent. I don't know. It's clearly a moon, paying homage to the moon, while they actually revere more the sun. I don't know why is that. So there are a couple of mana worms and arcane essences that need some culling here, and that's what the gardener will tell you. To thin their numbers. There's a quest there, perhaps to collect some pieces and then to kill some mana worms. So we're almost done here with the Eversong Woods tour, and as you can see, this even though it was released so far away, almost 10 years now that the expansion was released, it is just beautiful. Silver moon, high in the distance, huge towers, huge spires, colors just contrast so good with one another. Here you can see the house that sells the Blood Elf mounts, the Sunstriders, and then the profession trainer to teach you how to ride. And then we are now at the walls of Silvermoon. So here we end our first tour, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.